Restoration Church's 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting 2026. We here at Restoration Church believe that there is power in prayer. We're challenging people to start 2026 strong with 21 days of prayer and fasting. This year, we're focusing on 3 main areas of prayer, and each week, right here on our channels, we'll go a bit deeper into each of those areas to help you pray more specifically. Our desire is for this time to bring hope and healing to your life. We will begin soon. All right, happy Monday, everyone.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
How's it going? I've got Pastor Scott here next to me.
Hello.
It is the final week of our 21 days of prayer and fasting. And I don't know about you, Pastor Scott, but this has been quite an experience.
Definitely very different.
Yeah, so 21 days. We started on a Sunday, and I asked, I was asking our church administrator, I was like, asking for a friend. Since it's 21 days, technically it's over on Saturday the 24th. So when I wake up Sunday, can I go to Cane's? they were like, yes, you can. for breakfast that morning. I'll provide Cane's for breakfast for the team since we're the fast. No, not really. I won't do that. Actually, no, I won't do that. But 21 days, and I've had some personal, just I think spiritual highs that I haven't experienced in a while, and you don't really realize how much time you have in the day until you cut out things that take up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
So
that's very accurate.
We've said this every week, and I'll just say it again. What you decide to fast is completely between you and the Lord. No one should be telling you, hey, you should fast X, Y, Z, unless it's a pastor or something giving you suggestions, right? But if your spouse, for example, Tori, my wife loves coffee, and I have no business saying you should fast coffee, because that's not how it works. But anyway,
unless they ask.
Exactly. But anyway, that's not how it works. But other part of that is whatever the Lord puts on your heart to fast, you don't necessarily have to go around telling everybody either. Good morning, how you doing? I'm fasting so and so. But what I'm getting at is during this time, I felt led to fast social media, and that's what I was getting at is I've got so much time on my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Yanni was on last week. He's the worship leader at Worship City Church, and he was like, I've been so productive these past 21 days, and I was like, oh yeah, me too. And so, but yeah, it's been great. Diving into the Word, I've got a fresh perspective of the Gospels. I'm rereading the New Testament. It starts with the Gospels, and I have found some days where I'm like, I feel weak, I feel hungry, I want to give in, but then I dive in the Word, and the Lord gives me strength. And so, how's it been for you and your fam?
It's been good. I think that it's funny when you think about the Daniel fast and participating in it. You're like, people are like, oh, meat, protein, blah blah. But this is weird, but I miss eating cheese.
Yeah, dairy,
cheese. Milk and cereal,
yeah, absolutely.
It's
Cool Whip.
Yes, ice
Let's
cream.
just list all the things we were going to eat Sunday, when we wake
It's
up.
about to be
No, not
a
really.
food coma the next day.
Yeah, but 21 days of prayer and fasting, and each week we've had a different emphasis. Week 1 was our Dream Center. We're
Mhm.
super excited about that, to see the Lord bring that to fruition, something that He's put on Pastor Johnny's heart. And we say we're a place of hope and healing, and so Pastor Johnny, I think, said he was challenged on a drive once back to Sioux City, and the Lord asked him, like, okay. I've called you to be a place of hope and healing. What exactly are you doing to bring hope and healing other than church and all this other stuff? And so that's kind of how
Yeah.
the Dream Center was birthed, and he'll probably share more about that here in our Vision Night, which we'll get to at the end. But last week was Spiritual Awakening in Siouxland.
Hmm.
So we had Pastor Bill Yanni and Austin Yanni on to talk about that. We wanted unity amongst area pastors, area churches, because there are so many great churches here in Sioux City and Siouxland area. Great Bible believing churches, not just us. We are on that list, right?
Hmm.
But we want to see unity, and we want to see revival. And when we say revival, we're not talking like just at Restoration Church. We want to see all the churches packed.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's great if the Lord moves in people's hearts, and if there was ever a time during a social climate where we need a spiritual revival, it's now. There's so
Yep.
much division. There's so much spiritual attacks out there. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, and so that's why we're praying on that last week. But this week, the emphasis is
Missions.
missions, the global church.
Hmm.
And Restoration Church or Morningside has always been, yeah, perfect.
Mission.
You wore that because of this, right?
No, I wore it because it's stinking
It's
cold
warm because
outside.
it's a warm, yeah.
And
I have
it's
the same
warm.
one.
Yep.
But the global church, and I think specifically today was it protection over
Yes,
missionaries? Yeah.
protection over missionaries.
So, Pastor Scott, what is your experience with missions trips, missionaries? I know you've been on a few, and a few of the missionaries that our youth supports, y'all have had come talk, and you've met a few. What is your experience with this?
I've been on 4 mission trips. I've been to Mexico twice. No, sorry, I've been on 5. I've been to Mexico 3 times. I've been to El Salvador and I've been to Brazil. Each one of those was amazing in its own way. I think my favorite one was getting to go to Brazil because it was a longer trip, like a longer travel, and so it was just different. It was more challenging. We had a good group of students go. It was really fun. Great missionaries. Obviously, the ones I went to Mexico, we got to be with our missionaries from our church, Lloyd and Kelly Cogdale. Amazing people doing construction work. I think that those 2 people are some of my favorite people. I love them. But I think also the best and hardest one was Brazil because on the way to Brazil, I got like jet lag and I was sick for like the whole first day we were there and it was rough, but it was good. I liked it. It's one of my favorite trips.
And those with students, right?
Yes, so we
Yeah.
took students and we worked with King's Castle. So we went to El Salvador, and that was our first interaction with King's Castle Ministries. And they do a lot of children's ministry because they see that if you get the kids in the church, it's easy to get the family in the church
Yeah.
because the kids will pull and beg and ask their parents to go with them, and it usually brings their families in. So they've been in El Salvador and now they've branched out and we got to go to King's Castle in Brazil doing the same street ministry, and it's amazing to see the amount of kids that come, but then their grandparents and their parents would come, and obviously the presentations that we're doing, they're not for the parents. Like there's goofy stuff and it makes the kids laugh and it makes them happy and stuff like that, but one of the coolest things I got to see was the fact that the missionaries there in Brazil, as us, the Americans, are in front of all these kids dancing, singing, doing all these skits and stuff, that these missionaries from Brazil are talking to all the parents, bouncing around, talking, getting to know them. And then I got to one of the missionaries that was there, that's a pastor in Brazil who had just been ordained. He was talking to me about how every time we went somewhere, he could point out a group of kids that have been there the whole time, and this is their family, and this is their mom, this is their grandma, this is their dad, and stuff like that. And so it was just really cool to see how deep these missionaries are diving into people's lives, and it's cool to see people stepping into their calling. Man, it takes a special person to be a
Yeah,
missionary.
I was going to mention that was, it's amazing to me when people get called to be missionary. It's quite a change in their life.
Oh yeah.
No matter where it is, if it's like, because we have missionaries everywhere. We have missionaries here in the States as well. It's not always third world countries or on the other side of the world, although that's kind of where
Yep.
people's minds go first.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you think about it, if the Lord calls you to be a missionary and you have to move, some of these missionaries are married, they have spouses, they have kids, they have to move the whole family.
Well, I mean, you think about Lloyd and Kelly Cogdale.
Yep.
Lloyd had a successful construction business.
Yep.
He was making good money. He was doing good for himself. Kelly was the secretary here at the church. They were good. They were satisfied with their life. They had 2 teenage kids, and then the Lord called them, and they couldn't help but go. And so they
That's how it works.
uprooted everything
Yeah.
here in Iowa, moved to Mexico, and
Yeah, when the Lord calls you and you say yes and you go, if it's in the Lord's will, He'll provide and He
Oh,
will
yeah.
help with that. But it's just amazing, and you know, I was thinking about it too. I haven't been on a missions trip since I was in college.
it's time to change that.
I agree. It's been about 10 years since my last one. Technically, when we did tours with the Evangel Orchestra, those counted as missions trips.
Yeah.
So the last one I went on was we went to Europe. We did 2 weeks in Europe, and we worked with missionaries there. And it's just amazing because every time I was with a missionary and I just saw how they did what they do, I was just so amazed. And I always walked away like, man, these are the most selfless people
Yeah.
that just do the kingdom work. And sometimes in places where the kingdom work is not exactly legal.
Yeah.
You know, I also was blessed to go to Vietnam when I was in college as well. Great missionary, Joel and Marie Watson. Joel was promoted to heaven a few years ago. Marie is still doing mission stuff. A lot of people know who they are. And I was just so amazed at seeing Joel do what he does and just how selfless he was
Yeah.
and how that work is. And, you know, in, again, places like Vietnam where it's not necessarily, you know, legal to have a church or have church
Yeah.
service, you know, and it just also puts in perspective how blessed and fortunate we are here in the States to
Oh yeah.
be able to have, you know, freedom of worship. We know we can go to church without having to worry about it. We don't have to hide our Bibles. We don't have to like hide in a basement for a Bible study or prayer group, and how often we take that for granted. But you know, praying over missionaries, which we do every week, by the way, here at Restoration Church, we have a list and we rotate that out so that we can pray for them more specifically. And you know, missionaries always need prayer. They're always doing the kingdom work. They're always needing provision, protection, and again, they have families too that need provision as well. And if you're a member here, you may see the wall of, what do we call it? Is there a name?
The mission. I've always called it the missions walls.
Okay,
Because there's two of them. There's
in the
one
lobby.
one hallway, and then there's one on the other hallway. And
Yeah, you can s-
we've just called them the mission walls.
You can see who we here at Restoration Church support. And if you're in the sanctuary, kind of an iconic thing we have, I'm going to say the word iconic, is the flags hanging in the sanctuary.
From every place that we
Every
have a mission.
flag you see, it represents a country where we have a missionary that we support.
Yep.
And so Pastor Johnny wanted those up as a reminder, as when we leave, you know, remember this is, you know, we go a lot. The gospel needs to go further than just, you know, here in Sioux City or in the States. And so, but yes, I do need to take another missions trip.
agree.
I need to go. It'd be fun to go to one of the Latin countries just because,
Come to El Salvador
you
with
know,
us this
I'd
summer.
love to. Is it summer
Yeah.
trip?
July.
Now the Mexico trip I can never do because it's always very close to Easter.
Yeah.
And I'm very deep in Easter, Good Friday, Easter weekend prep, and it never
Never works out.
It never works out.
I don't think that would work.
And I'm
even
like,
leaving
"Oh,
that
maybe I could. And then I'll be so stressed if I came back. Excuses. I know, but yeah, I'd like to go to a Latin country. And I do want to say something else too. I know some people can sometimes get fatigue about, you know, giving for missions, which is really it's a blessing and a privilege to be able to support these missionaries because of what they do. You know, you're not just supporting that missionary and their family, you're supporting the gospel being spread,
Yeah.
right? And what I want to say is you never know how far that seed that gets planted will go. And I'm going to give you a quick example. I'll be fast, I promise. But my family is actually a product of missions, and I didn't know that. And I shared this on a Sunday a while ago, but what happened was I grew up in a Christian home. My dad grew up in a Christian home, and my grandfather was Christian. I think it's my great grandfather was from Nicaragua, and he got saved from the ministries of a missionary. There was a missionary in Nicaragua that was doing the work of the Lord and preaching, and it was my great grandfather that went forward and got saved because of that missionary of his ministry. And so because of that, you know, his family was saved, then his family, then his, and then mine. So because of people that supported that missionary Salamgo Nicaragua, I'm here 4 generations later, you know, believer. You know, you never know how far those seeds will go that you know,
Yeah.
that you sow in.
I think one of the
we
most
support.
impressive things going to mission trips that I've seen is the selflessness of missionaries. A lot of times in ministry in general, you have people trying to like lift themselves up in their ministry, saying, "Oh, I'm the one doing this. I'm the one blah blah." But I've just noticed a lot of missionaries that I've come across is the fact that it's like, "Oh no, we're gonna let you guys do this. We're gonna allow you guys to serve. We're gonna allow you guys to be." Get the credit like it, and that's something that's always impressed me about missionaries is like in a position where like, you know, we go to that missions trip, we made a sacrifice for a week.
Oh, yeah, just a week or however
They
long you're there.
a week or 10 days, they made a sacrifice
Yep.
for their life. Like
Mhm.
they said, you know, I'm going to sacrifice all the comforts of living in America, having things the way I want them. You know, they have to go learn another language, they have to go through all this training.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that they don't just pick up and leave. There's classes. They gotta learn about the culture. They have to learn language, which can be difficult.
Which the AG sets up people very well to be able to
Yes.
do that. They have those classes, they have the standards that you have to meet before they send you on the missions field, which is good. Which, you know, from a lot of the older preachers that I heard growing up, you know, they were like, there was this one guy that would always come to our church, and he's like, I went to this place with $50 in my pocket, landed with one suitcase, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, hey man, that's faith. That's faith right there. Not knowing anybody, not having any connections, landing on the ground with one suitcase and saying, you know, my bags are packed, I'm going. But I'm glad that we have a fellowship that, you know, promotes and helps launch missionaries into their calling.
Yeah,
instead
just
of
spreading the gospel.
just saying, hey, you go.
Just
You're
go. Good
good.
luck to you, sir.
Yeah, good
or
luck.
ma'am. Yeah.
You know, you got the call, which is always important to have the call. But you know, our team set AG sets people up very
AG
well.
World
to succeed.
Missions,
Yep.
AG Missions, yeah. And it's for them, it's work even when they're not itinerating, when they're not out there, because when they're here, a lot of times they're traveling to churches to get support, you know,
Yep.
to get advocacy and to spread awareness of their ministry that they're doing. And a lot of times missionaries too have like kind of a unique thing they do, and so like for example, we're doing a trip to South Africa. What is it that we support there? Is it water wells
Yes,
or
it's
toilets?
Blessman's ministry.
Yeah, Blessed
So they
Ministries.
build outhouses
Yes.
for kids to have a toilet to
toilet.
sit on, and then they have the water wells that they put in a community. So what we raised money for was a water well,
Yeah.
bathrooms, and supplies to start a garden,
Yes.
so that they can self-produce their own food, that they can be self-sufficient,
Yeah.
have their own food, they can have a safe place to go to the bathroom, and that they can have water to be
Yep.
able to drink.
And that's another thing too. If you give regularly to any missionaries, they have like all of them have like an email list, email chain. So if you give, you can actually. It's one of those cases where you can actually see what God has done through those finances, and you can see like what the Lord did through that giving. You know, they'll send an update. They'll send pictures if they can.
Yep.
And some of them actually mail physical things as well.
Well, that's the thing about the Africa
get a
missions
magnet or
trip
something.
is we raise that money for the well, the bathrooms, the farming stuff.
Yep.
That's what the team is going to do. They're going to go see our well. They're going to go see that area
Yep.
and
That's
stuff
really cool.
and visit there and help in any missions way that they can. And I think we have like a team of 15 or 16 going.
That's a good number. Yeah.
I think. So it's pretty good. I'm excited. And then also they're doing that in June. In July, we're taking students to El Salvador again for the second time
With King's Castle.
with King's
again.
Castle, hoping to get a little more students. I think the first time we went, it was just me, our church secretary, and 7 students and one adult. One of the kids' dads came with us and helped with construction while we were there. But this year we're hoping to take a few more students, and we're going with the Iowa Ministry Network. So it's gonna be a good trip.
Yeah. And then our intern Cade, who you can't see, he's here, but he felt the call to missions.
Yeah, and he's actually, it was actually crazy last year when it was Kate's senior year, and he was talking. You know, I remember one week he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna do this." I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome." And it was like 3 weeks later. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna graduate." And he's like, "I'm gonna intern under you." And I was like, "What?" And he was like telling me what I was gonna do, and so he's telling me that he wanted to intern under me for a year, and then this summer he's gonna go do an internship with King's Castle in El Salvador for 2.5 months. Actually, from May to August, I think, and he'll be out there, and then he's going to come back and see what the Lord has from there. And so we're super excited for him. He's been helping here. This May will be a consistent year of him coming in 2 times a week, helping with all kinds of stuff around the church.
He helped set up what you see right now, by the way.
Yes, he did. So But yeah, that's one thing I loved about our church. The two things when before I was on staff, before I ever got hired here, I would
The
I
worship pastor and the worship. Yeah. No, I'm just
no.
kidding.
I would. That was actually I'm just
Oh
kidding.
no.
Just kidding. But I remember when I would come visit when my wife and I were engaged and dating.
Yeah.
Her parents come here, so we would come and visit. I remember coming in and I was impressed by two things. I was impressed by how much this church supports missions and missionaries,
Mm,
and I was extremely impressed with how during service this church prays for other churches. And that was two things that like I remember when we were first moving up here, didn't know this job was a I knew the job was a thing. I hadn't applied for it or anything. And I remember my wife was like, "Hey, do you want to go check out some other churches?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "The Lord told us to be an answer prayer to Morningside Assembly of God. That's where we're going."
yeah.
And so we came here expecting just be an answer to prayer, and then all this happened, and now we're on staff.
Yeah, I love it. I love that this has always been a missions church. Pastor Johnny has always been a big, big supporter of missions, missionaries. He's been on quite a few missions trips as well himself
yeah.
when he was youth pastor.
A lot of good stories.
And associate, yeah, ton of good stories. And so we're just so thankful for missionaries. And so this week, during your time of prayer, during this final week, I'm going to say it again, final week,
Final.
you can do it,
You can do it.
of prayer and fasting. Turn your heart towards missionaries. You may not even know them by name. Just pray for them, the church, the missionaries that we support. Maybe you have like a magnet or something from a missionary that visited, because they always have a booth set up in the lobby, and they have like stuff to show you what they do. Grab that. Maybe read through bullet points of what they do. Pray for their ministry. Specifically today is protection over our missionaries, because that's really important. But other things coming up here at Restoration Church. This Wednesday we have our Vision Night at 7 p.m. And what are we covering at Vision Night?
We were covering some vision that the Lord has casted through Pastor Johnny and stuff like that in prayer. And, one thing we were praying today, a lot of people think, this is like the staff's vision, but, this is God's vision for our church. It's a time for all of us to step up and be a part of what God's calling us to do as a church. It's not just calling Pastor Johnny to do it, not just calling us to do it as a staff. He's really calling all of us to do it. And so he's going to bring up some new, fresh ideas that are coming out, some things that are going to be happening with our Dream Center and different things like that.
Very exciting things.
Very exciting.
You want to be here.
If I didn't already know them, I would be here. It's a lot of good, exciting stuff. There's some stuff coming out about our counseling, about church planting, about the Dream Center, about our young adults.
Yes, church planting. We knew we wanted to plant 5, correct?
Mhm.
In 5 areas that don't have a Pentecostal church currently. And it was just kind of what the Lord planted on Pastor Johnny's heart. And he had shared that last year, I believe, for Vision Night. So between then and now, the Lord planted the idea last year. Between then and now, it's how to get that moving, how to get that going, how to get that started.
Yep.
And so he's going to share some updates. Actually, Pastor Ben, I believe, is going to be here, and he's probably going to share a bit about that. And then we'll hear about Counseling Center.
Pastor Charity's going to share.
Pastor Charity will share about counseling, give us an update on that. That's exciting as well. And then, of course, a lot about the Dream Center. And we're just going to go over some things that we feel like the Lord is moving us, the direction He's moving us in the future. And we're glad that you're part of it, by the way. And we want to see you here 7 o'clock Wednesday night.
Also, for those that are younger, that are in college, there's going to be some fresh
Yes,
vision casting
yes.
for our young adults here at Restoration. That we just had a great meeting this last Thursday about it, nailed down a lot of details. And here at Restoration, we are super excited about young adults' future.
Yeah, we have a heart for that age demographic, and actually, I was reflecting on this too. The Lord's been so faithful with young adult ministries. We had a great year, great 2025. Some really cool events. We gather every first Wednesday during our first Wednesday activities, and so we got together with church leadership, and there's going to be some exciting things coming with young adult ministries, and I'm really excited to see.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be really great, and I'm glad that you were there for that too, because we were talking about youth and young adults. That's kind of like the next thing. So when you graduate from high school, you're now a young adult. And so we wanted Pastor Scott and Kendra's perspective, because they are our youth pastors. And so if anyone knows that age the best, it's them. And so we kind of connected. They gave us some ideas, and we bounced off each other. But yes, we're covering that as well this Wednesday. So there's a lot we're covering this Wednesday, but you want to be here. Trust me. It's really exciting stuff coming.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. We have youth that night,
Yes.
like normal. Okay.
Yep.
So please come to youth.
Yeah, we're actually having in youth we're having LLC Life Leadership College from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're coming down to do a fun night with our students. They'll be preaching. They'll have a bunch of fun activities, prizes, things, and it's a luau, so it'll be
A
cold.
luau in
It'll be
January.
cold outside, but it'll be warm in the sanctuary.
January luau, huh?
So wear your Hawaiian shirt. We're gonna have a blast.
And your swim trunk? No.
No,
In January.
it's too cold for all that.
A luau in January. Yep. Then on Sunday, which is at that point the fast is over. You can wake
Eating
up. You
canes.
can wake up and have canes that morning. Sunday is the final. Actually, it's not the final. Final day is Saturday technically, but Sunday we're marking that end of the fast with a celebration. So we have our 3 regular services, but then Sunday night, I believe it's at 6:30. I'm gonna check my calendar. I don't want to say the wrong time. Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. in the sanctuary, we're having a special celebration service to mark the end of the fast.
Celebrate.
It will be a celebration. It'll be a party in His presence, and it's going to be awesome. And I hope to see the sanctuary full of people. It's going to be great. Let's end this fast together and just see what the Lord is going to bring in the rest of 2026. I don't know about you, but these 3 weeks went by really fast. We did our staff prayer this morning, and Pastor Johnny was like, okay, he gathered us around, and he's like, hey, it's the last week of our fasting. And I was like, what? That went by fast. Because when it started, I was like, gosh, 21 days?
It went by. The fasting went by fast.
It did, yeah. Yeah. But yes, I was surprised.
Sound like Cade.
Yeah, I was like, man, that was quick. And so just so thankful for a church that does that. That's challenging our people. We're challenging you to grow spiritually. And I just want to say too, you don't have to wait for our church to do a church-wide 21 days of fasting and prayer. You can fast whenever you'd like. Again, it's all between you and the Lord. Whatever the Lord puts on your heart to fast and when to do it, for how long, that's totally up to you. But you don't have to wait till January 2027 for the next 21 days. I'm sure we'll do it again, but.
Yep.
But we're thankful for you, Restoration family, and we're looking forward to Wednesday night, and we're looking forward to Sunday night. And thanks for joining us here online. We hope you have a blessed week. And remember, this week we're praying for missions and the global church. So when you're in your prayer time, ask the Lord to reveal what you need to pray for that. So thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great week. Stay warm. It's cold out there.
We love you.
Thank you so much.